saw there was some baby something or others in here and I didn't know what it was, and now I see that they are baby Serpae tetras. Very, very cool. Not something I've ever had breed in my aquarium. So hopefully I got a bunch of them, because I would love to increase the school for free. So it's time to check in and see how the vegetable filtration has been doing in the Discus Aquarium and we'll check out the Malawi River Aquarium as well as we'll see how the new vegetable filter is doing in the 600-gallon Asian jungle, and we're going to add another section of the vegetable filter, the 3,000-gallon. We'll check out the first section, see how that's doing. So let's start with the Discus Aquarium. Right off the bat, the number one and most important thing is the vegetable filtration has killed all of the hair algae. Completely gone, it's done the job, but once again, it's looking kind of dark in there, isn't it? Well, that's because, well, you know what? Let me show you. We know I took out a ton of plants and moved to 600-gallon. Well, let me show you what happened. Well, if you guessed that it's all grown back already and blocking the light again, well, then you are right. And if you guessed that what we moved over to the 600-gallon is completely taken off and overwhelming the chamber, the big sump chamber it's in, you're right there too. And of course, not to be outdone, the Malawi River Aquarium, yeah, the plants, they're taking off literally. I think they're getting ready to try to go through the ceiling there. But yes, they are dominating and doing a great job of keeping the nutrients down, but they are certainly taking off everywhere. I think right here you can tell we need a little more light over here, but we're getting great growth, and the straggler, the leaf that fell down there, is another plant now, so good stuff. And of course, not to be left out, the 3,000-gallon, yeah, it must have had some nutrients, because these plants are going crazy all off of one little 50-watt light, so they are doing a good job. But what we're going to do in this video is we're going to expand to a whole nother section. It's time to double up the vegetable filtration on the 3,000-gallon. And of course, we know up top with the Discus Aquarium, the plants are doing great, the plants inside the tank are doing great, but our vegetable filter underneath also doing really good, keeping the nitrates down and growing like crazy. In fact, let's do a water test on all these tanks and let's see where are the nitrates on all these tanks. All right, now for the results of the nitrate test. So the 600-gallon Asian jungle, it's looking 10 to 20 range. 125 Malawi River, it's looking again 10 to 20 range, looks a little closer to 10, so a little closer to 20 for the Asian jungle, which we just recently did the vegetable filter. Somewhere between, let's call it 15 for the Malawi River, where we have a very established vegetable filter. This is the Discus Aquarium, the 220 Discus, and again, somewhere between 10 and 20. Let's call that one, 15 or 20, so not bad. And last but not least, the 3,000-gallon. All right, we're definitely darker on the 3,000, so we are not at 20 and not at 40. So let's call it 30 on the 3,000-gallon. So I guess those results are not surprising. The 3,000-gallon is just getting ready to go over a huge rescape, and we know the vegetable filter in there is very small compared to the size of the tank, and we know most of the aquatic plants have been pulled out of there for the new design, and obviously I'm factoring in the results of what I've been experiencing with the vegetable filtration so far in the new design, so rest assured there's a lot of vegetable filtration coming to the 3,000-gallon rescape. Now with the 600-gallon, we know the Asian jungle, we just put the new filter in there not too long ago, and we added that vegetable chamber, so looks like it's doing its job, but it still has some work to do because it hasn't had enough time. And for the Malawi River, the 125 and the 220 Discus behind me, who've had the emergent growth plants, the vegetable filtration the longest, well, they're kicking butt. 15 parts per million, 10 parts per million. Keeping in mind that none of these tanks have had any water changes in, I don't know when, the summertime last year. So it's been a while, let's say at least 6 months. So very solid numbers, and I look forward actually to when we get the 3,000-gallon rescaped, comparing how that goes, because there's some monster fish in there, and that's really the test. If you can control nitrates with 3-foot long fish, you know, then you're doing something good. But let's go ahead and get the floating. Let's do another. Just grab a whole bunch of the floating plants for the 220, and let's start seeding that new vegetable filtration section in the sump on the 3,000 gallon, because I want to get some more light in this tank. There's baby serpes in there, and who knows what else is going on. It's too dark with it all being blocked, and I have a feeling that discus are going to look amazing under full light. So let's get that going, and then let's check out the discus. All right, let there be light. I have removed quite a bit, probably 70% of the top cover there. So yes, a lot more light. And in the meantime, I need to add some lights to the sump for the 3,000 gallon. And I know sometimes people say, oh, you make things look easy on video, building tanks and stuff. Well, there you go. I do dumb things too. I just screwed a screw into my finger. So, you know, just like everybody else, it looks easier on video. In person, if I did a blooper reel, it would look ridiculous with me drilling my finger. But, you know, I don't want to embarrass myself any more than I already do. So, there you go. But yeah, we're gonna let this clear up, and we're gonna get some lights on the 3,000 gallon sump, and then I'll show you what the vegetable filter edition looks like. Also, we'll get an idea for how much of an impact the plants I moved over made, so that when they grow, we can see, you know, the progress. You know, see how it goes. All right, we're back behind the 3,000 gallons. So we have our settling chamber at the far end. We have our mechanical filtration here. Our first section of vegetable filtration, which is doing awesome. And now here is our new section of vegetable filtration with all the floating plants that we moved over from the Discus Aquarium. And you can see we've added lights up there. That's where I conveniently drilled my finger. Yes, I don't know. I know you're thinking, how the heck did you do that? I don't even know. That's how bad it is. I don't know. All right, so anyway, we got our first chamber here, or second chamber of vegetable filtration, and we may even do a third one because, you know, we have another 10 feet of sump down there, and yeah, there is another chamber, so we might end up with 3 different levels of vegetable filtration here, and then of course the 3,000 is getting completely rescaped, so there's gonna be a lot going on up there with plants as well. So, all right, let's check on the other tanks. All right, the 125 Malawi River. Now this is the first tank where we really got established. I mean, you can see the plants are going crazy. They're growing up there. They're growing off this side. They're growing down here. They're going everywhere. As well as in the sump, same situation. The plants are doing great. And it's not coincidental that this is the aquarium that had the lowest nitrates of all the ones we tested. And it's the one where I always joke I never have to clean the glass anymore. It just manages itself. It's been awesome. And one thing I'd mentioned before, I have babies, but I'm noticing there's actually 2 or 3 different sets of babies in here. We have Turkana jewels that have bred. We've got these little yellow ones, which I'm not 100% sure how they're going to turn out, but there is a lot of them. Originally I thought there was a few, but there's actually a lot. They're everywhere. When I feed, they come out, and you know, like I said, there are a bunch of different types. So before no time at all, what looks like a understocked tank now will quickly get filled up by these African cichlids. And I don't know why. They're not afraid of me. They're not afraid of me putting my hand in the aquarium. But if I pull out the camera, oh my gosh, they all hide. But as you can see, they have a ton of places to hide. There's a massive root structure coming down there. Plus they have all these, you know, caves and plants and everything. But the pothos roots coming down really gives an awesome root structure. And there's even stuff in the front too. And I like it, you know. So far, we'll see. It might get overgrown, I might not, but for now I dig it, and it just creates more place for these babies and these mature mbuna to cruise through and keep, like I said, with this tank, aggression has been non-existent. So for an mbuna tank, I'm loving it. Now this is what I really want to see. Let there be light. I could really appreciate the Discus Aquarium now by removing, you know, 20% of that top cover. It did its job, and it's awesome, and it's going to grow back. I didn't want to trash it because I didn't want to just throw out the plants, so I was kind of waiting until I was ready to make that next filter section for the 3,000 gallon, and it works out just perfect. But yeah, these guys have been amazing. You know, it's one of those things. With the annex coming, I'm pretty sure well, I know for a fact there's going to be more African cichlid tanks, and there's probably going to be more discus aquariums too, or at least discus in an aquarium system. I don't want to give away the surprise, but it's going to be pretty awesome. because I really, really love these guys. This tank is so much fun. It is a blast. Now, the frustrating thing is I caught a couple of those Serpe babies, but once I changed it where there's so much light now, it's definitely spooked them. Even though this is the next day from when I did that, they're staying tight into this cave structure there and down in the grass here. So I've only spotted 2, but the other day I saw quite a few. But as is normal with babies, there was a couple that were much larger than all the other babies. So the ones I saw in the video were those, and there are some smaller ones, but I am not able to find them right now. And one thing that's interesting, I did add a power head to the back of the aquarium. It's actually vertical there, shooting along the back wall. You can sort of see the movement back there, and it's basically just creating this, you know, laminar flow just going around like that. So I didn't want to create top movement because I have all those floating plants up there, but I still wanted to have water current. So what I did is I shot the return down into the tank. It has a small hole drilled, you know, so no back siphoning would occur. And then I have the gyre pump over here creating that whole side to side, front to back movement. But what you can see is when I took out all those plants, all those roots, they collect a lot of debris from the water. And when I took all of those out, you can see where the water movement blew it, and it all ended up right over here. So this is all just stuff that was on the roots like that basically settled and got blown around and ended up here. So I will suction that out. It's just mulm essentially. But I'll go ahead and suck that out, and just loving the tank, you know, now that I can see everything. And one thing I'm noticing with it is it's time to add, it's completely dialed in. So the filtration is going great. We've got the vegetable filter down there. We've got the vegetable filter up top with the floating plants. It is definitely working. Really all the tanks that I've had the vegetable filtration to, night and day. This is another tank where I haven't cleaned this glass in 6 months. It looks fine, you know. Of course, we had a lot more cover. I mean, it was like 100% covered. So we'll see what happens now that there's more light getting down here. But I do love the fact that with this one, the 125, you barely have to do anything for cleaning the glass. You certainly don't have to do water change or anything. Just dosing nutrients so that the plants will uptake the nitrate. And adding those immerse grown plants has just been night and day. But I was gonna say, now that it's all lit up better and I can see it, I really want to add some more fish to this aquarium. It's definitely ready. It's been dialed in. You know, we reset it. It's probably been 6+ months ago since the reset. So it is definitely time to go ahead and increase the stock. Now I'm not sure what I want to put in here, but obviously it's got to fit with the Amazon theme, and it's got to be compatible with Discus and you know, small tetra and everything. But I am definitely looking for something to add to here. If anyone's got any thoughts on that, hit me up in the comments. You know, probably be support fish. I mean, not something that's probably going to rival the Discus, like no Sevrum or anything, but you know, some nice medium-sized support fish, something that would blend in well with these guys would be pretty nice. I'm thinking while we're here, let me throw a little food in for the Discus. All right. Do a little hand feeding of these guys. And ouch. Oh man, beautiful. I'll zoom out a little bit for everybody there. So the vegetable filtration has definitely been a win for the 125 and the 220. We've increased the vegetable filtration to the 3,000 gallon, and just with that first chamber, it did take it down from you know, higher nitrates, where I was having to do water changes to keep up, to not having to do water changes, getting it under that 40 ppm threshold. As well as we've just added that big vegetable filter box to the 600 gallon Asian jungle, and we can see that those plants are taking off. They're growing like crazy, and we can see that the nitrates in that tank are low as well. So those two tanks both look like they are well on their way to benefiting from the vegetable filtration. Now it's time to focus on the 750. That tank has been the Amazonian Islands tank. That's been a tough tank. I'll save it for the update, but the war continues with the plants. Yes, there's still some jungle val in there, but the war continues. But I got some ideas, because certain parts of that tank go really, really well. So I think I'll double down on those parts, and I would like to add more vegetable filtration to them, both above and below. So a lot of work to go there. And of course the new DIY step-by-step build, that also has a lot of vegetable filtration built into that wetlands filter that I'm working on. So that'll be very interesting as well. So basically, again, like I said, not the first person to do vegetable filtration, but I just want to give you guys 4 or 5 great examples of it being very successful in different style of tanks in my aquarium basement. Okay, I know I said this was going to be the step-by-step build this week. Obviously it's not. I ran out of some materials and I had to wait for them to get here, but that is back on track now because those materials are here, and that will be the next video, and it should come out pretty soon. So as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys soon.